Warning: the following presentation may be disturbing or triggering to some viewers. All information on this channel is provided by the local news and is public to all viewers for your own research. Viewer discretion is advised.
It was here at number 62 Cataraqui Crescent, where police were called just after 1 a.m.
I just heard a whole bunch of pop, 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 and a whole bunch of screaming, and cars driving by.
Pretty tragic, honestly. Something like that could happen to anyone here, even me.
Roberts followed, and Suda Mariki was shot in the parking lot.
It was more shooting, and lots of the boys, they die out, and different people living here. So it was school and everything like that. So it's kind of shocking to us now.
Wagwan, everybody. Welcome to our next episode of Talk the Things podcast. Welcome to our next TTC series episode, where today we're going to be talking about Cataraqui. Now, Cataraqui is also known as Block 13. Enough people have been wanting me to talk about this. They've been putting it in my comment section. So I said, I'm going to come out and talk about Cataraqui. I know some people who are from Cataraqui, but I never usually really came too much around here. This is around like Warden and Danforth. So this is the west side of Scarborough. This is like where Palmer Court and Chesterly, like all those areas I've been talking about, they're all not really too much close together, but they're all on the west side of Scarborough. Now, most of the cases we're going to be talking about today happened on Cataraqui Crescent and on Fair Valley Court. Now, this area I'm guessing is also called Oak Ridge, because I've been seeing bare articles saying Oak Ridge, Oak Ridge, Oak Ridge. But when they're talking about the area, they're talking about Cataraqui. So I don't know. You guys have to let me know. Is that like what the overall area is called? But Cataraqui had enough crime back in the day. They had a big presence back then. But like I said in all of my other videos, a lot of these places in Toronto are starting to calm down now. The people them are all dead enough. They're all going to jail. They're all getting old. So the blocks them are calming down. But there's still a lot of things that happen in Cataraqui. And we're going to be talking about some of them today. You know, we can't put everything in one episode. But we're going to be talking about some of the stuff that caught my eye. And one of the cases we're going to be talking about didn't really even happen in Cataraqui, but you're going to see why we're talking about it. So getting straight into the video, moving on to case one, we're going to be talking about a person that went by the name of Bruce Olenika. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but that's just how we're going to see it. He was 16 years old at the time of this case, and we're going all the way back to August 30th, 1990. We're around 5:15 p.m. on 85 Fair Valley. Police got called for gunshot, and then they found him shot inside of the building. It doesn't state where in the building it was. It just says that he was found shot inside of the building and died in hospital. And you know, when the cases are so old, there's not much information that we have out on them. It's just going to be like a quick thing. And even the next case, moving on to case number 2, is very short. We don't have much on it at all. I'm just going to read you guys a quick screenshot of what the people them were saying about the story. Now, this story happened on 1 Fair Valley Court on April 4th, 1995. And it's going to be talking about a man who went by the name of Winfred Grant. He was 34 years old at the time, and he was shot to death by the next person who went by the name of Kareem. That's how we're just going to say it's Kareem. And the person was convicted back in 1997. Now, this is a long time ago. This person can be out now. We don't know what happened with this whole situation, what caused this. There's not much information. Like I said, when the cases are so old, all they have is just like what happened, and that's it. But moving on to case number 3, where we have a little bit more information. Now, we're going to be talking about a person that went by the name of Ibsa Hassan, who was 29 years old at the time of this case. Now, this happened on October 17, 2010, and it happened on 65 Fair Valley Court around 1:09 a.m. So Ibsa was just in his car doing whatever. We don't know exactly, but a man winds up pulling up to him in his car. We don't know if he walked up to him or drove up to him, but he went up to the car and shot in the car and killed him. He was pronounced dead at the scene. But that's all we have on the case. Not much information on this either. Now, I want to pause quickly before we go into our next case. For those who are wondering, why do we even talk about this? Is because this is what the people ask for. Now, I see some people in the comment section asking, oh, is the TTC series ever going to be something positive? No, it's Toronto True Crime or Toronto Tower Chronicles. I will make a next series if you want to talk about all the glorious stuff that happened in Toronto. But specifically, this series is meant for true crime. So even if we don't have all of the cases, even if I decide to leave out some of the information, people still fuck with the videos. People still want the videos. And guess what? They're watching it every single time. So You guys just continue to support me if you really fuck with the videos, and let me know if you want to change it up a little bit. We just started this series about like maybe 2 weeks ago, a month I will say now. We started this series, so it's a brand new series, but the people are fucking with it. So moving on to case number 4, we're gonna be talking about a person I went by the name of Jamal Abdinasir. I can't pronounce some of these last names; they're so hard to pronounce. I don't know if it's because of my accent or what it is, but I don't want to seem like I'm butchering the people's names. We're just gonna be calling him Jamal. Now he was 16 years old and he was in grade 10 when this whole situation happened. This was a very high profile case, and it happened on May 27, 2024, and it happened around Warden and Cataraqui. That's all the news says. It doesn't show exactly where. But if you're from the area, you can look at the news clip and see where it is. Now they're saying around 1:02 a.m. Jamal was shot inside of a house, but somebody ran into the house and shot him, killed him, and the suspect ran away. Now people wind up coming. When I say people, I'm talking about the ambulance and the fire truck and police, and those people came, took Jamal to the hospital, but he ended up dying. Now people were speculating and saying on Reddit, we can't say how sure this is, but people on Reddit were saying that they were looking for his older bro, and they thought that he was the older bro. Supposedly they look very much alike, and they thought that he was the older bro, and that's what happened. They came after him, but it was the wrong person. Can't be too sure about all of that, but let's just watch a news clip, see what they're saying, and then I'll come back with the next case. Because that case that we're going to be talking about next, interesting, bro. But you guys listen to this.
Tracy, police have identified the victim as Jamal Abdi Nasir. Now, according to neighbors, this 16-year-old lived here in this townhouse behind me near Warden Avenue and Danforth Road with his mother and 5 siblings. Police have yet to make an arrest in this case, so officers spent the day canvassing for witnesses and video surveillance. It was here at number 62 Cataraqui Crescent, where police were called just after 1 a.m. Inside the townhouse, police and paramedics found a 16-year-old boy who had been shot.
I just heard a whole bunch of pop, 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 and a whole bunch of screaming, and cars driving by.
The boy was transported to hospital where he succumbed to his injuries. Investigators have identified the victim as Jamal Abdi Nasir. Global News has learned Jamal was a grade 10 student at École Secondaire Catholique Père Philippe Lamarche.
I think it's really tragic, honestly. Honestly, to think that something like that could happen to anyone here, even me. Like I think that kid was the same age as me.
This 18-year-old boy lives in the neighborhood and was awakened by the commotion. Police will only say the suspect fled the scene, leaving people here on edge.
Years ago then, it was more shooting and lots of the boys, they die out and different people living here. So it was school and everything like that. So it's kind of shocking to us now.
Yes. Do you want to stay here?
No, I am going to here. I am not stay here. Not safe areas.
At Pierre Philippe Lamarche, news of Jamal's murder spread quickly.
It was just devastating to hear how people found out and stuff. Like, it just really hurt me.
These twins say Jamal loved to play basketball and are struggling to believe he's dead.
I want him to be remembered as like a type of person where you can come to, like, if anything. He was a very nice person and he was like an older brother to me.
All right, so you guys just seen that. Now, moving on to case number 5. This is a case that was very high profile. And I know some of you guys who are watching my video, you guys are clearly into Toronto news, right? So you guys would have probably seen this case on the other channel. I heard that our other channel covered the video. I never watched the video that the other channel did, but I heard a big Toronto channel covered just this topic alone. So if you want to get into more of that, you can go watch this video or that video. But in this video, we're just going to be doing a quick brief overview and play a little news clip for you guys, and I want to give my opinion on it. Now, this case happened on October 25th, 2020. This is in the COVID times, and COVID has a lot to do with this case. There was a rapper guy, right, in Toronto, and I didn't even really want to call his name because, we don't like to call name, but it's so publicized, it's already everywhere. There's no point of hiding it. The rapper's name was Go Getter, and the reason why I'm talking about him is because he came from Cataraqui. So even though this never happened in Cataraqui, it happened at Danforth, and they're going to say it in the news clip, but this happened not too far from Cataraqui, and the man is from Cataraqui. So I said it's perfect to put into this video, even though it's already been talked about so many times. He was in the line at LCBO with a girl. He went to go buy NEC or Dulce. It was one of the cognac that he had in his hand. When there was a white guy and he was at the line, his name, we're just going to call him Jacob, but that was his name, Jacob, but the last name I can't pronounce. Anyway, Jacob's just at the line buying his stuff, and the rapper guy comes up behind him. And remember, this is COVID, and those times everybody was like bitching, like, oh, don't come so close to me, don't come so close to me. Remember, they put the stickers on the ground. Usually at LCBO, if a man is at the register paying up by where the bank machine and those stuff are up there, the person would wait at the end of the counter. The end of the counter is where the rapper guy was standing up. But because it was COVID, they wanted him to stand up like way back, like near the aisles almost. When the white guy said, yo, move back from me, the rapper said, I'm already back. I already moved back. Supposedly, we can't be too sure about this. Can't be too sure about this. They wind up doing their purchases and whatever, and they walk off after that. But it's when they're walking out the store now, Go Getter, the rapper boy, runs down the white boy. The white boy starts to run, runs down the white boy, shoots him in his back. The white boy drops down in the parking lot and dies. But the thing is that they're saying, well, some reports are saying that the white guy called the rapper boy a nigger, and that's what made him go off. And the white boy pulled out a knife, and that's what made him shoot him in his back. Can't be too sure. I never seen much other sources saying that, but I just want to play you guys a news clip. You guys can hear what they're saying, and we will come right back.
This is video shown at the second-degree murder trial for Michael Roberts. It was October 25th, 2020, around 5:30 p.m., when the 20-year-old was waiting in line with a female friend to buy cognac inside an LCBO on the Danforth, when he got into a verbal dispute over social distancing with a stranger named Jakob Sudamaricki. The video is silent. In court this week, 2 employees of the liquor store testified that Sudamaricki was overheard saying, "Get the F back." Roberts stepped back and replied, "I'm already back." It was about 7 months into the pandemic, and people were being warned to stay 6 feet apart. After paying for their alcohol, Sudamaricki left the liquor store. Moments later, Roberts followed, and Sudamaricki was shot in the parking lot. Roberts, who took off in a silver Acura, was arrested a short time later, about 8 kilometers away. He later learned 21-year-old Sudamaricki later died from his injuries. According to an agreed statement of facts read out in court, it is not disputed that Michael Roberts pulled the trigger, leading to the death of Sudamaricki with a single gunshot wound to the back. On Tuesday, at the start of the trial, Roberts tried to plead guilty to manslaughter, but the Crown did not accept that plea. The Crown will argue that Roberts ought to have known he was going to kill or cause bodily harm that was likely to kill Sudamaricki. On the stand Friday, 2 arresting officers both testified that Roberts uttered, "He pulled a knife on me." One also testified Roberts denied having a gun. Roberts, now 23, has pleaded not guilty to second-degree murder. The judge-alone trial continues.
All right, so you guys just seen that. Now, I don't know about this whole situation. I don't know, to be honest. I mean, like, when you look at the news clip and see in the story, it seemed like it just stopped, like it was done. So what could have caused it to re-rise up like that? Somebody must have said something to somebody. We don't know if this white boy really did have a knife, but, he did probably say, you're a nigger or whatever it was that could have triggered him. But I want you guys to let me know what you think about this whole video. And specifically, I want you to let me know what you think about case number 5, the one with Go Getter, the rapper, and this guy, Jacob, I can't pronounce his last name. I don't know. To me, I actually can't say how I feel because I really don't know. And I just rather hear what you guys think about the situation. So let me know, and we will talk next time on Talk the Things podcast.